Boom.
And we're live. What's going on, everybody?
Let me interrupt you right off the bat.
Oh, really?
We got a super sticker from Tony Leonardi. Thank you for the super sticker, Tony. It says, Shiba dog with sparkles in his eyes saying, my hero.
Nice. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Thursday live stream where we do the Q&A and we answer a bunch of questions that came in from Patreon and from YouTube members. We did have some come in from YouTube members, but there was, while we will answer most questions, there were some political questions and there was like, why does it burn when I pee? So I think people were actually that's somebody's, why does it burn when I pee is somebody's Wi-Fi network around here.
Here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so, don't be ridiculous. And we don't talk about politics. So.
We also got a super chat from Van Shank Guitars. Thank you for the super chat, Ivan. He says, keeping it ad-free.
Thank you. I was just going to mention that ad-freeness. So we're going to answer a bunch of questions coming from Patreon. We have it ad-free. We do not have any ads on the live stream. We'll turn them on afterwards for the replay. So if you want to support the channel, there's a couple of things you can do. One is you can buy pickups. That's the number one way. Or any kind of merch over there at Dylan Talks Tone. The other thing you can do is you can use super chats during the live stream, such as Ivan just did. So the little super sticker that Tony used earlier. So we appreciate that very much. And if you don't want to spend any money, because I get it, maybe you don't want to spend any money, you could subscribe to the channel and you could share our content with other people. Those are free things that you could do to support our channel, even though we are ad free. So I would appreciate that very much. A couple of things, changes that we're making. One is I figured out the glitch that was causing me to not be able to upload videos ad-free to Patreon. So if you are on Patreon, and this is only for Patreon, if you are on Patreon, you will be able to watch all of our content that I can upload ad-free. And I'm trying
that I can
upload, that I am trying to do it a day before the other stuff comes out. Sometimes I shoot the video the same day that I upload it, but what I'm trying to do is get ahead of that. So like tomorrow's video is already there. Tomorrow I'm going to shoot Monday's video, so it'll be there over the weekend. So you'll be able to watch it early and ad-free. So we're going to try to do this. The other thing that we're trying to do, and it's working so far, is I've gotten a bunch of requests to upload these live streams to the podcast channel that we use on Tuesdays. Because some people are like, I love the live streams, but I cannot be there for Thursday, and it's just way easier to listen to it as a podcast. So if you are a podcast person who is maybe watching this in replay, I know some of you who are here live like being here live, but it will be available on the podcast platforms. I will upload it tomorrow, like the next day. One more thing. We are getting very close to 100,000 subscribers. I believe that we have 300 or 200 left to go to get to 100,000 subscribers. So there is a link in the description. If you are new to the channel, especially, but for everybody, there's a link in the description where you can enter ahead of time a giveaway that we're going to have during our 100,000 live stream extravaganza thing. And even if I miss it, like let's say it happens at 2:00 in the morning and I don't do a live stream, we'll do one the next day and we will still give away the stuff. Pickups, some merch, some, 2 sets of pickups, I think. So yeah, so some fun stuff. You can enter to win that by doing a couple of things. Subscribing to the channel is one of them. So please do that. That'll probably get us there faster. And then we'll have that all that kind of fun. So there is all those things. Now, let's ask our first Patreon question because it is the thumbnail.
Okay.
Plus, we can get some thoughts from them.
Well, there have been random things coming in. I'm assuming are related to something.
Okay.
So, Rob says, hello, Leslie, Brianna, Dylan, John Mayle. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Passed this week at age 90.
Yep.
His Blues Breakers and the band's guitarist, Eric Clapton and Peter Green, were a huge influence on my musical taste as a teen. I'm curious if and how these musicians may have influenced you both as a player and as a connoisseur of music. Thanks.
I never really connected with any of those guitar players. I like John Mayall. I think his guitar playing is awesome. I do not like Eric Clapton. Never did, never could get into it. There's some Cream riffs that are really good, but never really cared about Eric Clapton that much. Peter Green, I like his guitar more than I like his music. I mean,
is that the name, like some kind of weird wiring or
yep,
something?
yeah, that's the backwards. That's the out of phase one. Nice.
How about that?
Yeah, pretty good.
I like Eric Clapton for the record.
Do you?
But has nothing to do with my knowledge of guitars, I don't think.
Yeah. What Eric Clapton songs do you like? Or what Eric Clapton era?
You
How
know
about that
what?
era?
I think I like anybody who did MTV Unplugged.
Oh, okay. Now, individual performances I could be down with. I get that. Yeah. I just was never really drawn to him that much. So as an extension of this, and we'll just leave this as a running conversation through the night, because this is one of those things I just want to ask people and see what they say. This is what the thumbnail is. Who really are your guitar heroes? Because I think a lot of people will default to the same 4 or 5, but I don't think so anymore. I really think that there are more than, your general Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, go through the list of 10 or 12, right? But I think there's probably more. And I think people, because we have so much access to so much music, I'm just curious. My musical interests are far outside of guitar music usually. So I typically, as far as guitar influences go, Stevie Ray's at the top. Stevie Ray's at the top. When I was a kid, I was really into a lot of the speed metal stuff like Aldo Nova, if you remember who he is. Of course, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, all that stuff. I liked really shreddy music, not heavy metal, and I really liked punk too. I really like punk music. So I've never really been about this has to be technically amazing for me to be impressed. I want the music to be fun. And so that's why I like punk so much, but it's also why I like electronic music so much. And so I get a lot of hate for that doing what I do for a living, but my favorite record of all time is DJ Shadow Introducing from 1996. It's an electronic record. So I really, really, it's not even a guitar record. It's my favorite record of all time. So influences as far as guitar stuff goes, it's going to be Stevie Ray. There's going to be a few, but I don't stick to how do I want to say it? I don't stick to a time period or a whatever. What do they say that, like, if you like stick to your musical tastes till you're like 15 years old or something, or 14. And then after that, you're kind of stuck there, or like a lot of people are. Mm-hmm. I'm not like that. I'm always trying to find new stuff. So I don't really have a singular, except for Stevie Ray. That would be the one. So yeah.
So
that's
you want to
me.
hear some of these before
I do.
we totally get mixed up? Because a lot of people have sent stuff in.
Let's do it. Been looking forward to this ever since I put the thumbnail up.
All right. Randy Crooks, Terry Kath, SRV, Steve Howe, Jimmy Page.
Okay.
As 2 separate things.
Yep.
Jimi Hendrix. Charles Wallace says mine would be Scotty Anderson, Roy Clark, Jerry Reed, and Brad Paisley.
Wow, that's a cool mix.
BC Rich 581 said he wants to throw in some base heroes too.
Ooh.
Jocko, James Jamerson, John Entwistle.
Entwistle, yep, from The Who.
Phil Lynott. I don't know.
Lynott. Yeah, so
Lynott. Okay.
my
bad.
My number one for me is Victor Wooten. Having seen him live a bunch of times, meeting him, Victor Wooten to me is, because I love that style. You do too, right? Like the real slappy stuff. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This slappy bass, I like it.
Yeah. Yep. What else we got?
Driddle says Dimebag. He might not be everybody's cuppa, but dude had tons of fun and a smile on his face 24/7.
Totally get it. Dig it. Same.
BC Rich 581 said Ladies Night in Buffalo, Billy Sheehan, and Steve Vai.
So, Billy Sheehan. Okay. Cool.
Jay Fabe says Fripp, Baloo, Brian May, and East Bay Ray are my 4 pillars, all still alive and well. Chuck C. On bass, Geddy Lee, Duff McKeegan, and John Myung. On guitar, Alex Lifeson, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Jimi Hendrix, David Gilmour. Let me catch this one. We got a super chat from BLD0550. Thank you for the super chat. It just says, hey guys.
Hey, keeping it ad free for us. Thank you so
Hello
much
for being here live.
Yeah.
Let's see another one. From Ison said, haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for the super chat. Just supporting. Keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for helping us keep it ad free. That's awesome.
No, don't start talking. You see this?
I
list?
love this. No,
Okay.
I'm digging this. This is fun.
Rob F says Pete Townsend, Mike Ness, and Peter Green. Jose Daniel Zamora P says Gilmore, Page, Hendrix, the Young Brothers, AC/DC, and The Edge are my top 5, mostly alive and still playing.
Yep.
Jazz Rocks with Adam says Lenny Bruh. I don't know how you say it. Do you know who that is?
I don't know specifically, no, because I might not know who he means it is.
All right. Super chat from Sarge978. Thanks for the super chat, Sarge. He says bass, Justin Chancellor, Ryan Martini.
Oh, yeah. I would like to say, just interject this real quick and you can keep going. The Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, right? Stevie Ray, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani. But other than those, there has not been a whole lot of repeats.
Yeah.
There's been a very and this is my point, and I'll tell you why I'm taking this to heart in a minute. Keep going.
Oh, I was like, geez.
Nope, keep going.
There's probably more too. I haven't grabbed any new ones yet. Alexander says RIP EVH.
Oh yeah, he's the first one to say EVH.
Paul McNary says Noki Edwards. Peter Allen said Alex Lifeson, Eddie Holdsworth, Andy Summers, and Piggy from Voivode. I have no idea what that says. VOIVOD.
Is that a K-pop band?
I don't know. Matthew Altamere said, I really only like Clapton and Cream and pre-sober days. Graham Campbell says, my current guitar heroes include Mark Ford from the Black Crowes and Solo, and Jason Isbell, so very much alive, but also was very influenced by Roy Gallagher, Cream era, Clapton, etc. too.
Wow. Wide range.
Jose Daniel Zamora P said Brian May is also really high on my list. And then he said, and thinking in a way, I got to Hendrix through other guitarists, so it's kind of weird.
That's interesting.
Rob F., for me, Clapton's Yardbirds, Blues Breakers, Cream, and Blind Faith work are my favorites of his career.
Right on.
Van Shank Guitars said Dolly Parton, Ann Wilson, Joan Jett.
Joan Jett's on my wall right over there. You've seen her in videos.
Super chat from Sarge978. Thank you for the super chat, Sarge. He says, say what you want. Kurt made me want to play music. Simple, sure, but brilliantly melodic and attitude. Fight me, LOL. You're not going to get a fight.
You're not going to get a fight from me. Simple rhythm, chord-driven music is what I play. It's what I love. Yes, 100%. Sloppy, loud, fun. That's what I do. Like when I play in a band, that's what I do. I love it. Punk rock for life.
Harder than I did. Super chat from BLD0550. Maybe you meant to send this the first time. I don't know. Thank you for the super chat.
Yes.
Regardless, he said Timothy B. Schmidt.
I'm going to have to look that up. I can't place. Sometimes people will say a name and I've heard the band a million times and I can't place where they go. You know what I mean?
Marcia Murray says Kurt, Jimmy, and Prince are my big three.
Nobody has said Prince yet. That's interesting.
PJRJHJ. No idea what that says. I don't think it does. Mark Knopfler.
Dire Straits.
Johnny Marr. Nile Rodgers. Chris Ray. Tommy Emmanuel. George Benson.
Ooh, George Benson's a childhood hero of mine, and we have seen Tommy Emmanuel live, and he is phenomenal.
Phil Grochel says, I like country music, so Chet Akins, Jimmy Capps, Merle Travis, and Tommy Emmanuel. I'm
down with all of the above.
All right, so now you can talk for a moment while I go see if there was more.
So one of the reasons I've been trying to take some things to heart from the comment section lately, and I make fun of like classic rock all the time because I don't really care about classic rock that much anymore. And I got to thinking about it. I'm like, we've been doing this for 10 years. The audience has completely changed. We're in a completely different era of time. And who people respect as guitar heroes has widened so much that you can't make those. I can't. I'm not speaking for anyone else, but I don't know. I'm just going to not be so annoying about that anymore, because you look at all this list and it's like, this is not just Jimmy Page and, you know what I mean? And Jimi Hendrix and whatever. There's a huge list here. And I think this is really cool. And this is from our most loyal viewers and audience and stuff. And it just makes me feel good that this wide of an audience and this amount of people who listen to all different kinds of music, country, punk, classic rock, metal, prog rock. I'm trying to think of all the things that were included in this. Watch our channel. And so I might make a joke every once in a while about classic rock, but I'm really not going to anymore, because I don't think that's the case anymore. I think maybe it used to be, but as we continue on, I think the audience is just getting wider and wider, and it's really cool. And that's what it made me think of today as I'm listening to all these different names and stuff. This is really fun.
All right. We'll grab up till now and then we'll do the next question. Let's see. Charles Davis says, my guitar heroes are Gary Richraft and Robin Trower.
Robin Trower.
Super chat from Sarge978. Thank you for the super chat, Sarge. He says, Lindsey Buckingham. I know you hate Fleetwood, but credit is due. Billy Gibbons, even with the credit he's given, I still don't think it's enough.
I don't not like Fleetwood Mac. I don't.
He's directly said that. I know.
I don't. Yeah, I have directly said that.
Even when you said it, I was like, you're lying.
The songwriting is really good. I'm just tired of it.
I mean, that's different.
But the songwriting is very good.
T-Bone said, sadly, we never got enough of Steve Gaines. Matthew Altamere said, SRV Lenny is probably the only song that made me tear the first time hearing it.
Tin Pan Alley is that for me.
Tony R says Mark Knopfler. Jay Valente, George Shuffler, because I used to listen to him a lot as a kid. Chuck C said, I forgot to add John Petrucci to my list.
Oh, yeah.
Greg the Don't say that fast. Greg the Walrus says, my first heroes were Gary Moore and, of course, Jimmy Page. Also love Joe Walsh, Bonamassa, and Brad Paisley. My newest addition to the list are Charlie Starr and Jason Isbell.
I love that.
I love that your list is still growing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I love that. And I feel like that's most everybody here is doing that. And I love that.
Super chat from BLD0550. If that means something, you should tell me. Underrated guitarist Steve Lukather.
Yes. Toto.
I know some big Toto fans. PJRJHJ.
Should find out what that means too.
Yeah. Bass heroes Mick Karn, Bernard Edwards, Mark Adams, John Taylor, Pino Palladino, and Mark Egan.
I only know a couple of those names.
This is really challenging for me tonight with all these names. That I hope I'm not butchering their heroes.
Right? Yeah, I get that.
That's a lot of pressure.
Makes sense.
3J Music says Jerry Cantrell, Billy Gibbons, Mick Mars, Hetfield, Mustaine, Dimebag, DeGarmo, Wilton, and Satriani. I feel like we know what kind of music he likes.
Yeah, for sure. I think we like the same kind of music he likes.
The fact that I know who they are is probably that.
Yeah, right. We've seen most of them
Super
live.
chat from Kyle Ketchamonia. Thank you for the super chat, Kyle. He
Thank you,
says
Kyle.
Johnny Ramone and Jay Mascis and Kevin Shields.
You know who Jay Mascis is?
I do not.
Dinosaur Jr.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
No. Rusty said SRV made me want to buy a guitar and Epiphone SG, ironically.
Huh.
Since then, Mark Spear, Peter Green, and Yvette Young.
Oh, coming way new now.
Jose Daniel Zamora P said Justin Chancellor is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Meyer says Alvin Lee, John Cipollina, Pete Townsend. Richard Morgan says, since the Fragile album, Steve Howe has been my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Guitar Quackery says Scotty Moore.
Yep.
John Crammon says, not with us, but Terry Kath, Glenn Campbell, Dwayne, and Dickie.
You're going way back there. That's cool.
Roadie's Jam Cave says Dwayne Allman, Warren Haynes, Mike Campbell, Joe Walsh.
We know what kind of music he likes too.
I know. Evstathio says probably a very interesting mix. Tommy Emmanuel, Peter Buck, Ted Leo, Troy Donockley, and Marco Hayatala on bass. Hayatala? Sorry. Jeffrey Egan says David Gilmour, Carlos Santana. That's the first time. Tab Benoit, Mark Knopfler, and Mike Bloomfield. Who's the Mark guy? That's come up a few times.
Mark Knopfler is Dire Straits.
You told me that.
Yeah.
Eric Sandoval said Wata from Boris, Frank Zappa, Adrian Ballou, and Ernie Isley all inspire my guitar playing. Love you, Dylan.
Oh.
You've helped me understand my guitar more.
Oh my God, Ernie Isley. When I was a kid, we had a live Isley Brothers record, and the fuzz on Who's That Lady, I was like, holy crap, this changed my life. Hearing that just changed my life. Oh man, yeah.
Draw for Real said Frank Zappa was good. It's Victoria G. That's a name I haven't seen in a while. Says Brian May. Forever and always, even though his opinions on AI and art theft aren't great, but I love his passion, intelligence, and hair. I'm going to be a wreck when he leaves this life. Jose Daniel Zamora P said classic. Oh, no, that's it. Okay. I'm all caught up.
Okay.
You want to do more questions?
Yeah, we'll do more questions. Thank you for all your input on this. This has really been good. And I love it because it makes me feel good about where I'm trying to take the channel. And it makes me feel good about where you all are, just to learn about you. I think it's awesome. This is really good. And well, the other thing I really like about it is, like we were talking about, constantly growing. People are constantly learning new stuff. People are constantly learning new music. And there's a lot of overall progress in all of it. And one of the things I was thinking about is that a lot of folks had guitar heroes on this list that were not
a ton too, if you want to do more.
Were not considered guitar heroes by the diehard classic rock folks. There's no good music anymore, people. You are not those people. So I love that. And I also love the fact that some of you consider yourself guitar heroes. Kurt Cobain, for example, who is not technically he's not technically an amazing guitar player, but he's just good, right? Jay Mascis is another one. He's not a virtuoso of a guitar player, but he's a great songwriter, and he knows how to make the instrument do what it's supposed to do for the sound that he's making, which to me makes a good guitar player. So I really, really like that. That is a wide berth of things. So let's go into the next question.
Okay. No more.
Yeah. Otherwise we could keep going because, it's 8:30 already.
Is long. So
because we're going to do off topic at 9.
You should
so
go back in
I might check it out
and go see what people were saying after we did this section.
I love it.
All right. Charles says, good evening, Leslie and Dylan. Thank you for sharing your evening with us.
Thank you, Charles, for being here. If you are, and if you're not, I know you'll be watching later.
I think he's here.
I think he is here. I think he left a comment.
Country.
Oh, that's right.
Phil, hello, Dylan and Leslie. Came into possession of a 1997 Epiphone Les Paul Custom. Stipulation from my brother-in-law was the guitar was mine as long as I did some upgrades and sent him a video of the before and after. Wondering what pickups in your lineup would be similar to the 490R and 498T pickup set of a current day custom. Thanks for the continuing content.
Thruxtons, because those are A2 magnets. So I would put Thruxtons in that guitar. And we can do them in gold if it's a custom. We can do that for you. That'd be cool.
That's a fun stipulation.
That is a fun stipulation. It's a great way to get a gift. Ensures that you use it.
Mm-hmm. Super chat from Sarge978. Thanks for the super chat. He said, Tim Armstrong, Lars Fredrickson, Joe Strummer, El Jefe.
Interesting. Very eclectic group of folks there. Thank you for the super chat, Sarge.
All right.
Well, we're going to talk about Sarge in the off-topic hour, too.
Okay. We're going to talk about him.
Yeah.
Ivan said, look up floating duck syndrome, and let's talk about how we can apply it to how we succeed or fail in our hobbies, like building or playing guitar.
Okay. I did not know what this is. So I asked you to look it up because I looked it up, too.
Okay.
What is your impression of what floating duck syndrome is?
It started from education, like higher ed. So I read it to mean like you're putting on a facade that you have everything together, but you're struggling and not wanting people to know. And so the duck analogy being a duck just kind of coasts on the water, but its little legs are going crazy and you can't see them.
So guitar player wise,
yeah,
people being on the internet talking like they know a bunch of crap and they don't actually.
No, if it's based on success, maybe it's the person who seems to make a living as just being a guitar player, but really they either are struggling or living with somebody or have a side hustle or have a real job, whatever that is, right? And they're not sharing that. Maybe they portray themselves as a musician all the time. That's just the only thing I could think of right
Oh,
now.
okay. Makes sense.
So given the illusion, like to inspire somebody else, like being a musician is, you can just be successful, which we all know is not true.
Like being a YouTuber.
Yeah. Which we never tell anybody to do.
Right. Yeah. Don't do it. It's a hard way to make a living.
Yeah. And I hope, I mean, now I see who shared it, so I don't think that was in the intent, but immediately my brain went to like, I hope they're not telling us to look that up because that's what they think about us. Because I feel like we're very honest, like when we have bad days and when we have to work harder and when we're tired and we both work. But like
Yes.
I'm not given the illusion that sitting here talking to people on the internet is all we do. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And
no.
even that is the hardest thing for me all week.
Yeah.
Is coming here right now.
She would much rather be not peopling.
Yes.
She does it for you.
Yeah. So, Ivan, I'm curious, anybody actually, if anybody has any thoughts on, did we take that question the right way? Did you intend it another way? What do you think of floating duck syndrome? Like,
This could be a whole thing by itself.
I mean, and I would love to talk about it more if there's, if we're redirected.
Further input
or,
into it. We got a couple super chats while we were talking too, didn't we?
I don't know. I've been talking.
Yeah, I think so.
Super chat from Jeffrey Egan. Thank you, Jeffrey. He says, the guitarists that impress me most are not only because of their tone and style, but mainly for their phrasing.
I like that idea.
Super chat from Eric Luttinger. I don't think I've ever asked you how you say that. Thank you for the super chat, Eric. He said, the first time I heard Keith Richards' solo on Sympathy for the Devil, I discovered what cool is.
Keith Richards is just cool.
Let's see.
Do you see the memes about Richard Simmons dying and Keith Richards still being alive?
Yes.
So obviously that health thing is a lie.
Oh, man.
I love it.
Yeah. So the what's coming in so far doesn't resonate with me because I also don't know what these things are. David Girala says maybe this is related to the Dunning-Kruger effect. Russell Zahner says Buster B. Jones and Floating Duck is another variant of the Super Crip mythos. And then he said, I thought my mistakes were due to the Dunning-Kruger effect, but how would I know? LOL. So I'm assuming that's some kind of denial. I don't know.
I
feel like I should know it.
I feel like I should know it too, because I know we've talked about it. I'm going to Google, you can keep going, and then we're going to.
I'm a big fan of plain language.
Yeah. Cognitive bias, when people overestimate their abilities in a particular area due to a lack of knowledge or competence.
I mean, that sounds like it's unintentional, though.
Cognitive bias is usually on purpose, though, isn't it?
If you have bias, you don't usually know you have it.
No, that's true. If you have a bias, you usually don't usually know. Overestimate their abilities in a particular due to a lack of knowledge. Oh, yeah, because they don't know they're dumb. Or they don't know what they don't know, so they don't know that they don't know it.
And then they just talk like they know what they're talking about.
Yes.
They think they do.
Yes. That was the most genius exchange of thing right there that we've ever had.
Was it?
Yes, that was pretty good.
I disagree. He said the first way I pronounced it was correct. So it's Luttinger, I'm assuming. I think that's what I said first. Now I don't remember what I said first. Thank you, though, Eric. You might have to tell me if I got the right one that I think I said first. Sorry.
We're all over the place confused tonight. This is fun.
I don't mind admitting when I'm confused. All right, here we go. Super chat from Van Shank Guitars. Thank you, Ivan.
He's the one that brought this comment up.
Correct.
So this question up.
He said, how I understood it is how some people look at others' success and think that it comes easy for them. The duck seems to effortlessly glide on the water, but he actually puts in a lot of effort. Okay, so then that's looking at
That's like that
somebody's
whole
perception.
little iceberg with the whole thing underneath the water
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
But that, I mean, then that's the fault of the person looking at that, like in admiration and not understanding. Then it sounds like you'd have the Dunning whatever syndrome because you think it was easy and I'm just going to do it, even though you go into it with zero knowledge.
I'll tell you how it happens to me by others. Everybody, I'm not saying that, I really mean this genuinely. When people think that I'm some kind of guitar expert on the internet, and I constantly say, all I am is a guy with a camera who has done this 1,300 times. Like, I mean, I know stuff, but it's not, I'm just a normal person, right? Like, don't look at me like an expert. And that's the way, it's hard for me to understand it because I don't get starstruck by people. Like, I know that some famous rock producer is working 50 hours a day. Like, I know that. So it doesn't hit me the same, but I know that there are some people who do see the floating duck and think, oh, must be nice. You know what I mean?
And maybe that's
the must be nice people.
Maybe that's why it's hard for me to grasp because I'm also not that person.
Same.
Because you even put more thought into it than I do based on what you just described. But I mean, I just look at people as people. Like,
same.
You're not any different, better. I don't know. You're just a person.
I honestly assume that their feet are running way faster than it looks.
Do you?
Yeah, I usually assume that.
I don't know that I even think about it.
Well, I'm just saying if there's a conversation or if there is a reason to notice. It's not necessarily that I'm looking at another person.
Well, maybe when it's relatable. So you're saying that's relatable.
Yeah.
I guess I do it in some situations where I know what it takes to do what they're doing.
Honestly, most of this falls under the whole people that worry about other people aren't as successful as the people that don't worry about other people. Like, I don't care. I don't worry about what other people are doing. I do what I do. But when I take a moment to notice somebody, if I am having a conversation, if I am engaged with them somehow, I just assume that they are working hard. But that's what I do as a human being. I don't assume laziness. I don't assume negative stuff about other people. That's just my, unless.
I mean, when we get off here, I want to watch whatever the boy band controversy was. So speaking of, I mean, I'm assuming that's what we're talking about here is not idolizing. That's not the word, but assuming people like right place, right time, must be nice kind of thing.
Taylor Swift's only famous because of her dad, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
Right.
Anyway, I hope that was what you were looking for, Ivan. I don't know. Thank you. You don't have to put another super chat if you want to clarify anything else. I'll be looking for you.
To me, I don't look at life like that, so I guess I'd never thought about that as actually being a thing, if that makes sense.
Let's see. Super chat from Tony Leonardi. Thank you for the super chat, Tony. He said Stevie Ray Vaughan, James Hetfield, Hank Williams Jr., Brad Paisley. Oh, and I had no idea what the super sticker was. LOL. Yeah, so it's funny. If I'd have looked at my phone, I'd have seen the image. But in case you don't know, that's how emojis work. We just get the description because we're using a different app. So I think it's funny to read them out because that's what a screen reader would do if you use them in your text, by the way.
Yes.
I'm so behind. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sarge978, thank you for the super chat, Sarge. He said, I'm not usually impressed with the consensus guitar gods. I can respect talent, but I often find them pretty meh. I enjoy lesser players because they tend to actually make me feel something. I like that.
I get that. A lot of my favorite guitar songs aren't big, gnarly guitar songs. Going back to, was it Jeff's comment about phrasing?
Yeah. Super chat from Kyle Ketchamonia. Thank you for the super chat, Kyle. He said, love Jazz Masters because of Sonic Youth and Dino Jr. Was going to get a HHJM, but got a regular classic vibe. Not my first JM, saving up for pickup replacements.
Nice.
That's fun.
We could actually put humbuckers in that still. I did that for my dad. What I was going to say about, I don't remember what I was going to say now, so I guess it doesn't matter. Probably wasn't that important.
Wow. It doesn't happen often. This is a moment. I think I have one more. I didn't read that one yet, right? Or did I? I don't think so.
I don't think so,
Matt says, good evening. Any initial thoughts on the new Positive Grid Spark 2 amp that was recently announced? Seems like they're advertising as a
FR.
Yeah.
Flat range, flat response.
Speaker at a pretty decent price. Any advantages using amp sims on a
flat range, flat response
versus a powered cab? Maybe someone can send you one to demo.
My initial thoughts are it's probably going to be awesome. It's probably going to have a bunch more features that the other one didn't have, and it's probably going to sound better because remember, everybody hated how bassy the first one was. It's also got a battery in it so that you don't have to plug it into the wall and have that big stupid power supply thing. Am I going to get one? Am I going to do a video about it? If they send me one, after about what I'm about to say, they probably won't. If they send me one, I will review it because I think it's cool. I will probably not go out of my way to buy it or to chase one down. The reason is because I have seen a lot of folks comments on my videos, forums, groups on Facebook, and generally terrible customer service when there is a problem with Positive Grid products. I love their stuff. I use them all the time. But that worries me to recommend it. I have a product by Positive Grid that I never got to review because it never worked. And I'm one of their influencer people on their influencer program who has, gets a percentage and stuff. And they never emailed me back. They never communicated with me. And I have a broken piece of Positive Grid stuff in there that I've never used because it won't work. And they've never communicated with me on it. So I don't know, man. That bugs me. I love their stuff. It's probably going to be awesome. That bugs me. And I'm just being honest about that.
All right. Can we talk a little bit about the topic that appeared from Ivan? Because folks shared some additional thoughts, and then we have some other questions as we fill up our hour very fast.
Yeah.
Let's see. David Girala said, Dunning-Kruger is when your false impression that you think you know what you're talking about keeps you from knowing what you're talking about.
Exactly.
It's Victoria G said, Dunning-Kruger is not knowing enough to know you don't know. All right. And then Russell Zahner wrote quite a few comments to share his thoughts. So I'm just going to read them all together. So all of this is from, I left this up, from Russell Zahner. He said, the only way I have succeeded at anything in my life was being too dumb to know when I was beat. People don't realize it also takes effort to document and chronicle the effort produced and packaged up to show the investments made that paid off in the impressive thing you saw me do today. But now, behind the scenes is content, so there's more and more of it, and the tighter coupling with fan engagement is the modern internet business model, so I think the floating duck thing will marginalize itself over time. I get so tired of people calling me lucky. I worked for any skills you see me display. It's not my fault I'm good, but also it is, LOL. So maybe it's your fault you're depending on luck.
Dude, I feel all those things because that's, this is not, I don't want to get off topic before off topic hour, but This is my 9th business. I have busted my ass since I was 17 years old. Not because I wanted to be rich, not because I wanted to be famous or any of that stuff, but so that I could make a living independently and not have a boss. Like it's very important to me. It like terrifies me to have to get a real job. So I've worked very hard and learned things so that I could do that. And that's it. And I think when people don't understand your story, then they make assumptions, right? So I think it's really cool what you said. That's why I think the motivation for the influencer part needs to be kept in check, but also as viewers need to also, just putting this on you, don't assume anything. Like, I'm just a normal person. Everybody that you watch on YouTube and whatever, or wherever, is just a normal person. And works hard, and works hard.
A couple more thoughts. Jay Valente says, that's like the folks that say that person is so lucky when they succeeded after hard work and busting their ass. Luck and success are rarely aligned. Success is normally the result of hard work and sweat. And Hat Mike was responding to Russell Zonner. He said, Russell agreed. Like people who insist there's some magic natural talent that I have that they don't. The magic is that I practice all day, all week, and they don't.
That's it. I always say that. Get up earlier and stay up later. You just got to put the work in. I know that I'm not that great of a guitar player because I don't do it enough. I know that. But my focus is you.
Super chat from John OJF. Thank you for the super chat. He said, hey, Leslie and Dylan, really enjoying my mod Strat Rig SSH. Thanks to you. Bonneville Super 8 with that hyper switch into a positive grid mini.
That's
deluxe. I don't know. What does that say?
I don't know. Dude, that's killer. That's cool, man. I'm glad you dig that. I'm really glad you dig that. Bonneville's in a Super 8 is a good combo.
It's Victoria G said it terrifies me not to have a real job because I love employer-sponsored health care. Thanks for the sickly genes, mom and dad.
Oh, I can understand.
Yeah, we are opposite.
Yes.
I like my regular job also.
Yes.
Because if I did not have consistent regular income,
I
would be a wreck.
And this is not to say that I am not stressed certain times of the year. There are certain times of the year where I'm like, why do we not have any work? And it's usually the summertime right now. Usually it's the summertime where it's just like, oh my God, it's so slow. And we do what we need to do, and but it's not without the stress, for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's take some other questions that came in.
Awesome.
And thoughts, because there was a couple things I grabbed. Greg the Walrus said, apparently YouTube unsubbed me at some point. Just noticed and resubscribed.
Thank you.
Draw for Real. I'm going to go ahead and ask both of his questions because they're both specific to you. His first question was, you don't lead, Dylan? And the next one is, who taught you to play guitar? And I notice you're left-handed, but play right-handed. How did that come about, Dylan?
My dad taught me to play guitar, and I played left-handed or right-handed because my dad's like, if you play left-handed, you're going to hate your guitar choices because all you're going to get is a red Strat or a white Strat or a black Strat for the rest of your life. Of course, this was in the 70s and 80s, so, there are more choices now, but I learned right-handed.
I think this is similar to what Kyle sent in a super chat, but just in case, Kyle Ketchamonia says, hey, Dylan, I told you I was getting a Jazzmaster HH, but I got a regular classic vibe, so I'm looking into your JM pickups.
Excellent. Those are cool. Those are very good. We could put P90s in those too. If you wanted to just do a real set of P90s, that's what I would do. We could do that too.
Jose Daniel Zamora P. Says classic rock radio here now plays Nickelback, Foo Fighters, and Pearl Jam. What you mean is now considered oldies. Yeah,
I know.
that is kind of depressing. More from Jose. He says, in that way as well, Leslie, the social interaction of a job is always the hardest. Funny because I like hanging out with people, but not for work. Yeah, I don't not like people. But at the end of a work day, my brain is tired.
Yeah. You have a limit of people interaction. And when you reach that, it's not always a hard stop, but it depends on how.
But I think for the I don't want people to think I'm around people all day because I'm definitely not. I think it's more mental exhaustion. Like I can only think so much and then I'm just done thinking and I want to do something mindless. And this is not mindless.
Yeah.
It's fine. Every time I get here, it's fine. But getting here is like, oh.
Yeah. We always have fun. Thursday? And when we're done, we're like, oh, that was a good one. Yeah. And you're like, but I'm so tired. Like when we're done, usually. Yeah.
Last one from Jose. What's your take on desktop amps versus headphone amps like the plug ones?
I don't like the plug ones as much because I don't think they're as flexible. I would much rather have, and after I said all this, but I would much rather have a positive grid because like, I just think they're more flexible. Like that little positive grid mini thing is the bomb, man. I love that thing. I still use it. I use it all the time. It's right over there. I use it all the time. And you can use it with headphones, but it just does a lot more. And I don't know. I just think it's more flexible. I've been using my Kemper mostly.
T-Bone says, hey guys, Dylan, is there a certain guitarist you think is overrated?
No.
It's a loaded question.
Not really. I just don't think like that. So, no, not really.
Charles Wallace says, the fact that you are a normal person is what first drew me to the channel. The fact that you remain a common person is why I try to always make the hangouts. Also, why I drove 2 hours to meet you guys.
Thank you.
It's Victoria G said, I heard No Doubt on the oldie station. I wanted to cry.
Oh my God. That's funny.
I feel that. I won't tell you how old I was when I saw No Doubt. With
Bush.
Yeah, I was like, who does Gavin Rosdale sing for?
Yeah.
I remember his name, but I couldn't remember the band. Yeah. And somebody else was on that tour, but I don't think they ended up as famous. Somebody was before, no doubt, but I can't remember who it was.
I know what I forgot.
What'd you forget?
We're talking about how the guitar player doesn't have to be amazing, but they have to move you, right?
Yes.
So a lot of my favorite guitar songs aren't actually like these big legendary, it's not like Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. Usually it's something with some guitar phrasing in it that really, really moves me. And it might be a super obscure song. There is a couple of songs on the In Excess Kick record from 1986 that I really, really love. Never Tear Us Apart. There is some guitar chord progression stuff in there that I absolutely love. Prong, Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck has got to be one of the best EMG tone and guitar.
Every time you
riffs.
say that now, I hear it in Little John's voice. Yes.
Oh my God. That's so funny. And then the other song that always comes to mind that's not really a guitar song, but it is Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians, What I Am. That riff in that song, it stops me every time I hear it. But it's not some Guitar Hero song, you know what I mean? It's not some legendary, but just that riff is so good. And the phrasing in it is so good. And the timing and all that. So that's what happens is I'll pick a song out and I'll go, oh, this riff, this is just so good. Yeah. Those are a couple examples I could think of.
Super chat from Sarge978. Thank you for the super chat, Sarge. He
It's the
said,
sound of a super chat.
I heard Weezer in Walmart a couple weeks ago. A part of me died inside.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, at what point do you become like the grocery
Elevator
store
music.
elevator music?
Yeah.
I mean, the sweater song. We're old.
I mean, Celine Dion, right? She's still relevant, though. Getting, what, $2 million or something to play at the Olympics tomorrow?
Yes.
I can't stand
I'm
Celine
assuming it's tomorrow, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming its opening is when she's singing. I don't know.
Well, she's French, and it's in Paris, so that would make sense.
I thought she was Canadian.
Which means she's French. I mean, from that part. No, she's French. She is definitely French.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jose Daniel Zamora P said, by the way, are the screws on the Cerakote pickups going to be black as well?
Yes.
Graphite and guitars, since we're short on time, I'm going to hold you till after. David Girala too. We can talk about that after. Todd0864 says, I have no P90 guitar. Should I get one or put humbucker size P90s in a guitar I already have?
Get a P90 guitar. It's not the same. It's not the same. It won't be the same.
F. Stathio says, I really don't listen to Chris Isaac, but Wicked Game just moves me every time I hear it.
Exactly. That's a good example.
That was a great video.
I don't care about that record. I do not care about that music, but that song.
So I mentioned MTV Unplugged earlier, but really good music videos, because you wanted to watch the videos, it's like by default you ended up liking the song.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really loved MTV.
Is that why you like November Rain? Or
I don't know why. Because the video is dumb.
Kinda,
actually.
yeah.
No, I don't know. I think it's the piano and the
Really?
like put some strings in a rock song, and I'm like all in.
Oh yeah, you do like strings in a rock song. That's true.
So maybe it wasn't the piano. I don't know. I'm just trying to think, but it definitely wasn't the video. I hate the video because Axl Rose is not a good looking man. Never was.
Right. I also like intense riffs, and I like intensity in music. So the piano just made me think of something injected into a song that's not supposed to be there. Is Faith No More epic.
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of stuff is just see, but now we're going back to punk again. Like
super chat from Sarge978. Thank you, Sarge. He said, oh, got the buckers and pick guard. Just got to get to my local because I don't trust myself. LOL.
Nice.
So stoked.
Nice. He got the very first Highway 99s pickups.
Phil Grochel, the most challenging thing about watching YouTube videos about new guitars and gear is telling the difference between the ones giving honest opinions versus the shills pushing products for a buck. I don't think it's hard to tell a difference.
No, and I think that the assumption that people are pushing shills pushing a product for the buck is honestly it's not fair. The large majority of folks on YouTube, even when they're getting paid, are doing their best to give you a good review. The only people that I have a hard time with, I was just thinking about this today, are the people who, it's like, how many Chinese knockoff guitars can I review on my channel in a month? This is a great guitar. This Amazon guitar is amazing. This is amazing. And they're not. We know they're not. But they're getting referral dollars for it. So, you know, when Rob Chapman goes on his whole rant about Harley Benton stuff, I'm like, dude, you know that stuff is not what, I mean, okay, I know there's some good stuff for the money or whatever, but it doesn't make sense to me when people do that. But There's been some good videos about this over the last couple of months of people speaking out, being like, didn't the German guy do it? What's his name? You'll get in the comments and tell me, the bald guy. He's been ranting about some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, no, I feel him, because people accuse us every time we do a video about a new product, and I'm like, look, man, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't do it, you know? And even if I get paid, I'm about to do a review on the other channel on a fountain pen, and I'm going to tell people, if you want it, you should get it, but here's 3 other ones that I would buy instead. You know what I mean? Like, you can be honest about that stuff, and I'll still make affiliate dollars on all of it.
It's 9:00, but one more thing.
Okay.
Richard Pierce says, hey, Dylan, I have a Red Rhodes Velvet Hammer pickup that needs rewinding. Can you bring this vintage pickup back to life for me?
I saw your comment in the comment section the other day, and I replied to it. We do not do rewinds. I would recommend John Gorentz from Odessa Pickups in Kansas.
Yep.
He is on Facebook. His name is John Gorentz. It's Gorentz. Odessa Pickups. So it's Odessa, but with Z's. And he's really good. Mm-hmm. And he does that stuff, and he does kind of the more wackier stuff, and can do that stuff for you. We don't have time really to do. And well, it's not, we don't have time. Long ago, when we ran out of some of those vintage correct wires and stuff for doing like reproductions of vintage stuff, we never restocked it. And it's very expensive to restock, so we do not restock those parts. Actually, one of my best friends emailed me or called me the other night. He's like, can you please rewind this pickup? I'm like, dude, I don't even have the stuff anymore. So yeah, that's why.
Super chat from Sarge978. Thanks for the super chat, Sarge. He said, I'm more bothered by players with signature models who definitely aren't playing them. If you're going to put your name on something, I think you should only do it if it's what you'd play.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's happening a lot less these days. I think a lot of people are playing their signature models. But I also think that is relative too, because just because I have a signature model doesn't mean I'm going to play it all the time. I'm going to play it, and that might actually be a part of the agreements when we've done endorsements for other artists. You know, I used to do this stuff and endorse other artists, and we used to give them guitars and be like, look, you have to play it for at least 3 songs every gig, or you have to play it for your encore every gig, or you have to, you know, you can write all that stuff in. And so it does happen. But I think because, you know, somebody like Tim Henson has to play 16 different guitars during a gig because he's got all these crazy sounds and stuff, you're not always going to see his signature model. But for the most part, I think people are playing their signature models now. It didn't used to be like that, but I think they are now.
All right. It's 9:03.
It's 9:03. So you know what that means? It means Montana Knife Company just dropped their Thursday night drop. Montana Knife Company drops knives at 9:00 every Thursday. And so I've only bought one from them, but there is another one that I do want. Anyway, speaking of off topic, it's off topic hour. So what we do every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time is we go off topic. You can ask any question you want as long as it doesn't have to do with guitars. If you ask a guitar related question after 9:00, it has to be in a super chat. We do this just because we want to hang out and get to know y'all and be friends and whatever. And last week we got into popcorn.
Yes. We're still into popcorn.
I asked
like
Leslie.
Deep into
We're
popcorn.
deep into popcorn. So we did not know what a whirly pop was.
Nope.
Sarge bought us a whirly pop.
And it is amazing.
We got it. We got it on Monday, and we've had Tuesday, and we've had popcorn every day since. And we're gonna have popcorn after this while we watch the boy band show.
Okay.
It's amazing. And then you went like ultra popcorn nerd on top of that, right?
I did. I got the full setup with the oil and the salt, and it literally tastes like we're at the movie theater.
I will say what you did the first night was better than the packaged stuff the second night.
because that you get to pick your ratio. I know what the difference was. I used less oil and more salt, and that had more oil and less salt.
More salt.
Agreed.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, y'all were right, but I do think part of that is getting the proper stuff too.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
now we can make popcorn for like a year because I have a lot of stuff.
And it's exactly like the movies, man.
Yeah.
It's so good. So good.
And it's easy, and I don't mind. He doesn't crank it. He doesn't know how to make it.
Nope. I
He
haven't even
hasn't
done it
yet.
Nope.
So
I might
making
watch you
popcorn.
tonight. I might watch you.
Why don't you do it?
I'll watch.
I'll walk you through.
I'll watch.
Rude. All right. Graphite in Guitars wants to know, what bourbon are you drinking?
I am drinking Blanton's.
It's Victoria G said Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
Ooh.
I liked for the video. Exactly. That's a terrible song. That video is amazing.
It is a terrible song.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of songs like that where I hear the song, but I see the video. Like,
Yep.
anyway. David Girala said, so this is kind of music related, but not really. He said, honestly, I think Leslie's situation is something a lot of musicians can relate to. We're out here all introverted, but also need to be there for the audience. Yes,
Yeah.
I am very much introverted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I even mentioned it last week. I would rather play in front of an arena than a small club or a coffee shop or something.
Mm.
Yeah, I like the more people, the less nervous I am.
That is fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We had a discussion at work today about presentations, and there's like a very bold out there person I work with, and I've learned they're terrified of presenting. And I was like, really?
And you're super introverted and you're really good at it.
Yeah, that's what they're changing their plans so they can come early to the conference I'm speaking at because they want to see me speak.
Oh, really?
Because they can't believe I'm going to do it. I was like, I've done it before. It's no big deal. Like,
Yeah, and you have no problem speaking in front of people, right?
mm-mm.
Yeah. See, I've done speaking engagements where I've spoken in front of 20,000 people, and it doesn't bother me at all.
I'm not talking in front of that many people.
I love it. It doesn't bother me at all. I would much rather do that. Although I don't know, now that I talk to a tiny lens,
Mm-hmm.
because to do this, you have to know that somebody is out there, that we're actually talking to these people. Like, we have to have this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
This is a skill in itself. Like, to talk to a camera, it's really hard to do.
I'm not really good at that.
Yeah, it's really hard to do. Once you do it 1,500 times, then
I do talk to a camera, but there's somebody talking back to me.
right, because you're Zoom meetings all day and stuff, right? So you actually have interaction. Where today, when I shot this video that's coming out tomorrow, I'm like literally thinking of the interaction that would happen afterwards in the comments, the interaction that's happened beforehand to inspire the video. Like, what is the feel of the conversation that we want to have? Like, all that kind of stuff. And I have to like put this into a conversation and then talk to a lens.
That's so funny.
It's a thing.
And just one more thing. So you're talking about you'd rather speak to a big crowd. I actually because I would prefer everything to be conversation if it can.
Mm-hmm.
So I prefer a smaller room with time for interaction.
Okay.
I want questions. I want discussion.
So I think we've talked about this before. My cheat for that is I do pick points in the audience to speak with those individual people out of this huge room. And the other thing that I do, we've talked about this before, and you know I do this, is that when I write for a speaking engagement, I write it in a conversation. So not unlike what we're doing here, even though I'm talking to a camera, I am treating it as it is a real conversation in how I write it, even though I should speaking.
I don't do that.
Oh, really?
I think everything I do is really technical. So I educate in a technical way. I probably educate in the way I learn.
Well, I do that here, but I try to do it in a conversation. Like if you were sitting here and I was explaining to you how this worked and pointing to things and showing you, and hey, come here, let me show you this. I try to think that way when I write.
That makes sense. Super chat from Sarge978. Thanks for the super chat, Sarge. He said, so I've converted you to team analog, Leslie. Yeah, I will totally spin that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get off this thing last week, or was it even during one of the live? And you're like, mine's going to have to be power. It's going to have to be.
No, I think we talked about it because before we got off, we knew one had been.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's right.
So,
that's right.
No, it's
great.
It works great. Yeah.
I mean, the results are great. I don't know how it works.
Nice. Yes. Well worth it. Well appreciated.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Sarge.
It blows my mind. Every once in a while, one of you will do that. And thank you. Really.
All right, let's go. One more and then I need to catch back up. So this came in before. Tom F said, off topic. Have you ever, you might have to read this one. Cause I don't know what that says. Have you ever shot a Mosin Nagant? And if so, what did you think of the bolts operation?
I have not.
Is that how you say it?
Mosin Nagant, yeah. Okay. I have not. No, that's in my to-do list of wacky, not American stuff. I have a whole list now of, because I'm a kind of a Cold War junkie. I'm trying to turn this room into a bit of a timeline museum. So starting over there with the Scottish Claymore and going this way, and getting newer and newer and newer, and then coming all the way around here to firearms, and then like going older to newer with the firearm stuff. With the AR-15 being last, and then having it, come backwards and whatever. And so I'm working on some stuff. I'm looking for. I'm probably going to end up getting a Makarov. I'll probably end up getting a Bulgarian one, and then getting a Russian hand grip for it because the Russian ones are really expensive. I'd like to get a Walter P100, the one with the really long little barrel, like the 25 caliber or whatever. I'd like to get all the Cold War, so the Russian, the German, Eastern Bloc fighting pistols and fighting rifles. I'd like to get an English broadsword. I'm looking for a tomahawk right now to go all the way back. But I can't quite find what I'm looking for. It's either you go all the way museum. I still can't find what I'm looking for. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Yeah. You either go, very good. Should you say it in, like murder? Say it in his voice? No.
Who?
That's a different voice. I'm just kidding. Anyway, either you go like full on museum, you got to spend like $2,000 for a tomahawk, or it's like 1995 like kitschy gift shop one. So I'm trying to find like the right stuff.
All right. Let's go. David Girala said, you're going to have 10,000 wines on that bucket of popcorn. Yeah, easily.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to break it. I even did the warranty thing because I'm like, yeah, they're going to have to replace this.
Somebody said, and it was actually a guy that we used to get coffee from on Facebook. And he's like, or it could be like an at-home coffee roaster. Doesn't it
is
say?
That who said that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw
the guy
comment.
from North Georgia.
I know. Yes, it was him. Yeah, I saw that comment and it just kind of made me laugh. But it's in the information when you register it for the warranty, and it's like, if you roasted coffee beans in it, your warranty is void. I was like, oh, people must really use it for that.
Huh. Because it's the same action, really.
Graphite and Guitar said, I like small rooms. I feel that. Rusty said, have you seen Gog and Magog AI generated upcoming movie? Any thoughts on the future of cinema?
I have not, and I
Haven't
do
seen
not
that.
have thoughts about it.
Oh, yeah. I don't
know.
AI is yeah, I don't know about in these bigger contexts of like full on creation, I'm assuming. But I definitely, so we're in the middle of testing, like internal testing. And it's such a helper.
Oh, yeah.
It can't do it. Like it needs guidance, but it does help. And then it also kind of inspires. When it prompts correctly, it can be inspiring.
So that's what I'm finding. So I've been using it to pick, and I'll just be transparent with you, to pick YouTube topics, because what AI is really good at is sorting through data and statistics and giving you, this is what people want to know about right now. Oh, okay. And I've seen an uptick in performance in my channel because I've noticed that people are actually watching these videos because it's something that they actually want to know. Well, AI is telling me what most people want to know about. And it's, I don't take any scripts from it. I don't take any of the creative side. That's me. But as far as like, because I could.
But that means you don't have to start from a blank page. You're like, oh, that's a cool topic.
So what's interesting is there's a tool on YouTube right now where you can say, this is the popular topics. And the tab is called inspiration. And these are the popular topics that are being searched for long form videos. These are the popular topics that are being searched for shorts. And when you click on it, it says, do you want to write an outline? And when you click on it, the outlines are very generic, but they do give you an idea of the kind of questions about that subject that people are asking. So I don't use it to write anything, but I go, oh, I should include that piece of information in this video because apparently people are asking this question related to this subject. However, what I have noticed is the most popular thing is not always the thing that people need to know. So you could get into sort of an echo chamber of tone wood is awesome and nitrocellulose is awesome because everybody says that.
Right.
So now the majority of people say that. So now it's comes up in the everybody says it, so it must be true category. So you kind of have to filter through that. But it's not as bad as you think, though. It actually is pretty good, and it's been working pretty well. But I don't do any. I'm not going to let it write my scripts or anything. I could actually have it respond to all of my chats on my website and everything. And the chat responses are actually really good. But I don't, because I just don't want that feel. Maybe sometime when I'm getting 1,000 of them a day and I have to.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, we've implemented a chat
autoresponder
response
stuff.
But it's really good. It's smart, and it searches the knowledge base and searches what they want, and then it just, and it tells them, like, it's not trying to pretend to be a person, and then they can, like, hey, I want to talk to somebody, and it's no big deal, but it does deflect a lot of things that we might not have to deal with. Yeah,
I get that.
Tom F said, anyone going to see the new Deadpool movie?
Probably not. I'm not a big
David Girala said, yes, you have to pick people to basically be representatives of the audience. Absolutely. And then he said, Leslie is communicating with professionals. Dylan is communicating with professional musicians. Most of the time, I'm not communicating with professionals. I'm just kidding.
You're communicating with people that are floating ducks.
Oh, they're not making it look easy.
No.
Most of the time, they're making it way more difficult.
Yeah.
I think that's what Yeah, I think it's actually the opposite problem in what I do is
There's an easier way to do it, and they're
yeah,
making it
because
overcomplicated.
they just get intimidated and then do things the wrong way.
That's the same thing with this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Same thing with this stuff. People read the internet and think they have to do all this stuff. In reality, it's like set up your guitar, adjust your pickups, play.
Yeah. I mean, I had to talk to somebody today and it was I want access to do all these things. It was all this back end coding and everything he named. I was like,
And you can like control
he
F
was,
and it's
well,
all
he was
done.
like, are y'all going to let me do that? And I was like, what if the software does all that for you? And he was like, oh, yeah, it's built in. You don't have to write your own code. And he was like, oh, anyway. Jose Daniel Zamora P said, Leslie, did Dylan have a designated space in the house for his toys, or does he leave them all over the house? Dylan has a lot of dedicated space in this house. So, no, I
Two
don't.
rooms.
2 rooms and a garage.
Oh, that's true.
So, no, we don't have stuff everywhere like we used to.
No, and it's actually way better. And part of that is me because I swore when we bought this house that this room was going to be a place to be. I was going to use it as a studio, but it was going to be a place to be. We should do a tour video about it because one of the reasons, for example, that I use the Kemper is because I don't need pedals everywhere. I have not gotten a pedal board or a pedal out since I've moved here. And when I get done shooting, like tonight, well, probably not tonight because it's late, but tomorrow morning, I will put all this up and it will not look like a studio. And then next Tuesday, it comes back out and then it gets put back up. Like, I just really want it to be a home. And I mean, we've lived in our shop for so long.
Yeah. I'm going to go back up, but just really quick, Hassine Z says something about gifting something to your subscribers when you reach 100K. Go back and watch the beginning of this video. There's information there.
Yes, there's a link in the description for a contest that you can enter.
Curtis Chavez says, now you need some obscure European and Asian fountain pens to see if there's something cool, exclusive, and cheap.
Oh, I do. I have a pen that was made in Leningrad in 1959. And I have a North Korean fountain pen. It's really cool.
BLD0550 says you definitely need to get a Dragunov.
Yes, I agree. They're really expensive.
Jose Daniel
to get a good one.
Zamora P said, my dad eats popcorn every day, and after breaking the home use ones, he just uses a regular pot with the lid and guides by the quote sound of it. Yeah, we can do that too.
Yeah, that's how I grew up making popcorn.
Tom F says, I am thinking of rehoming my Nagant revolver.
Rehoming.
Phil Grochel says,
got space for it right there.
AI has its place in certain situations, like the Randy Travis song that was released recently. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But for many uses, I think it's scary to think about it being in control.
He can't sing anymore. So I think he basically oversaw, I don't know if I have the details totally right on this, but I think he basically oversaw and produced an AI version of himself.
Like they put his singing in something to, and yeah,
but
that's
he
cool.
did it because he can't really sing anymore. You know, his disability
so
is
sad. I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love Randy Travis. Curtis Chavez says the dangerous part of AI was already shown in movies. The AI algorithm tends to agree with the person who programs it. Yes, that is the danger of AI, is we talked earlier about bias. And yeah, people's bias are in AI already. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
a specific person. It lives out there.
Yep.
Graphite and Guitar says my Grail rifle, a Type 38 Arisaka with emblem intact.
I don't know what my Grail rifle is. I have a Grail pistol, but I just bought it, so I don't know. I don't know. That might not be my Grail pistol, but it is. It is.
All caught up.
Yeah, cool. What time is it? 9:25. I had to use an ultralight knife today because I have short shorts on.
Yeah, what's up with the shorts? Like, people don't like shorts?
Apparently.
Oh. Okay.
Somebody, I was waiting for it because I actually noticed when I shot the video, it's like, oh, I'm showing some leg today. And I had 5'11" tactical shorts on. They weren't like these. These are short. And I was like, these are like James Reeves short. Anyway, so I was wearing some shorts, and somebody was like, here's a pro tip. Don't wear shorts when you're trying to make a video. And I'm like, I have no control over your insecurities. I'm like, I don't care. I have nice legs. I'm going to do what I want.
Why is that a pro tip?
I don't know. I don't understand what people have against it unless they're just insecure about their own legs. But
Richard Pierce said, I contacted Mr. Gorentz and he said he will do it for me. Thanks for the help.
Excellent. I'm glad. That's very cool.
Guy.
That's very cool. He's a cool dude. We actually went to his house. I'll tell you a story about him. So when we lived in the motorhome, because I don't know, some of you have heard this, but many of you have not. We lived in a motorhome for 2 years. We drove around the country, making pickups, doing what we do. And he told me, he's like, you need to come and visit. And I was like, okay. And he's like, if you come, I will have a hookup for you. Well, what I did not know was that he worked for the water department in this little town in Kansas. And he lived across the street from the city softball field that was actually the mayor's like side yard, backyard.
The parking, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he actually put a 50 amp service and water in for us.
Well, he put the 50 amp in and our water was hooked to the mayor's house.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. And he told the mayor, he's like, I've got some friends coming. They're going to be in your backyard in a motorhome. And we stayed there for a week and everybody was amazing. And he was awesome. And
you did a lot of stuff during the day, but I was working and we would go like have cocktails in the evening. And it was a great little setup.
It was amazing. And this is one of those towns. This town is so small. And we show up,
and like we shouldn't have gone because all the roads were like, don't drive on this road if you weigh over these pounds.
Yeah, we weighed
like,
30,000 pounds and all these little farm roads are like, don't drive here. And the roads are barely big enough for our motorhome. And we show up in this little town. It's only got one stoplight, kind of little tiny town.
It didn't have a stoplight.
I don't even know if it had a stoplight. And we pull in and of course, we're pulling this Jeep. So we're 60 feet long. We're like the biggest thing to happen in the whole town. And
it was like we were the parade too. Because everybody knows everybody, literally.
Yes.
So then they're like, who is that?
Yeah. It was so fun. But it was so fun. And the dude was so cool. And John was really neat. And he's a great guy. And yeah, I tried to refer him as much work as possible. Yeah, he's a cool guy. That was a fun week.
And so we were just talking about being introverted and people. So those years were super stressful for me because he'd be like, I don't know, we're just going to go stay. And I'm like, what? What does that mean? Like, who are these people?
Yeah.
We've met so many strangers that it has been amazing. I think I have less reservations about it now because we've never had a bad story. And that's what we used to joke about, like, don't end up in a podcast.
Right.
But I don't feel like that anymore when we're going to meet people.
You remember that one time we were at Yellowstone National Park?
Yes.
It's pouring rain. And we're like, what are we going to do? Because we want to go to Yellowstone National Park, but it's pouring rain and we're like not going to be able to do anything.
We were already like halfway in. Like we were pretty
in
committed.
the parking lot.
Well,
No.
we had been going.
Oh,
that
okay.
was like our third or fourth stop.
Oh,
like,
that's right.
Yeah.
We were in the parking lot in the Jeep.
Yeah.
Like not even out of the vehicle.
Yep.
And I hear this person yelling my name.
Yep.
And I'm like, who is this person? And they are running across the parking lot in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
And he's French. He's from France.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I love your channel. I watch it. And I was in the Jeep. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So just randomly meeting people all the time. It's just so fun.
Yeah. You have a picture with him somewhere.
I do. Yeah. We took a picture.
Yeah. Super wild.
Yep.
Remember one time we were with the kids and we stopped to eat lunch and somebody it was like, we joke about not being starstruck, but people aren't.
It was Del Taco.
It was just like this dude was just like, hey, it's good to see you. Like, it was just like, whatever, you're here. And we were like, how does he know us?
It was a Del Taco in Reno, Nevada.
Oh, you remember?
Oh, yeah. I remember all of them.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
And the kids were like, how did they know you?
Yeah. Because that was a long time ago.
It was a long
That
time
was
ago.
weird. That was a weird one.
Well, and we did have the business name on the car, but still.
Yes, that's true.
We've never been that big to.
Yeah, we don't put the business name on anything anymore.
No. Sorry. Let's see.
Those are funny. I love mean people though.
It sounded like you said I love mean people. You said meeting.
Mean people.
Meeting
People.
Yes.
Meeting people.
Let's see. Dog Dr. Tim said, Dylan, you have lovely knees.
Thank you.
Kyle Ketchamonia said, hey, Dylan, what editing software do you like to use?
I use Final Cut. Yep. I used to use Adobe Premiere for quite a while. Actually, all the motorhome years I used Adobe Premiere, but I went back to Final Cut.
Matthew Altamere said, Dylan, I made a comment on the other channel. Would be cool to have a basic pen nib tuning vid. Just got my Kaweco Sport Brass, and the nib writes so much better than my K Sport Plastic, both F nibs.
So I am not really good at it. I'll tell you who you should watch for nib tuning, who is very good at explaining it. If you've heard of Doodlebud, that's what his YouTube channel is. He's a Canadian guy, and he has a lot of nib tuning videos. It takes me, I mean, he can do stuff in a few minutes. Most of those people that are good nib tuners, it takes them just a few minutes. And then once you get good at it, you will. But like the pen that I fixed yesterday, it took me like an hour because I was troubleshoot.
But then you fixed like 3 of mine.
Yeah. And then but yours were way easier. That one was bent and it was twisted and there was a bunch of problems with it. I think it had been dropped probably. So.
Yeah. Folks they're talking about where they live in Florida, various things, and talking about rain. Yeah, it's rained here every day for I don't know how long. And the dog is terrified of storms.
Yeah. Every time it thunders, he's freaking out.
He's wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the rest of the day.
Yep.
Let's see. Graphite and Guitar says, go to a pen show and have it done. Real easy to screw up the nib.
Yeah, that's what you could do too. Just go to a pen show and pay somebody like $20 or $30 or whatever and just have them fix it.
Mm-hmm.
If you've bought it from a legit retailer, you could probably return it and get a new one. If it's a Kaweco.
Yeah, I don't know how we got here. I'd have to scroll back. But F. Stathios is telling Graphite and Guitars the best investment he's made in the past couple of years is a UPS. He puts all his electronics on it. We have one.
Yep.
Just for the internet.
Yep.
Because, all of our stuff is laptops. So it's not like we have desktop computers. So I don't really care if the power goes out, but I do care if the internet goes out.
Yeah. Because she usually has like 40 tabs going.
At all times?
Yep. We had
How I like it.
We had when we lived in the motorhome. I got the UPS when we lived in the motorhome because we had
Same reason.
Yeah, because we had a generator, but it always took, a minute to go over there and start the generator up. And when you're in these RV parks, power can be so iffy. So it would give me extra time to switch over to the generator, and you wouldn't lose work.
Yep. We learned that the hard way.
Yep.
Because somebody was working on something and didn't tell us.
Yeah. We were in an RV park somewhere, and somebody hit some wire.
Where we were in the wet one that Mom came and visited us at somewhere South Carolina.
Oh, it was in...
I can't remember the name of the town.
Yeah, over there.
It's where the old church is.
Yep. I know where you're talking about too, but I can't remember.
Anyway.
Over there where the redheaded guy shot his wife and his son.
Not quite there, but yeah, similar feel.
Yep.
You're not very good with names.
Murdaugh.
Yeah. Jose Daniels and More Peace said, people in the comments on Dylan Shorts be like, you have made me face feelings I didn't know I had, and now I'm confused and angry at you. They now need betterhelp.com.
Dude / Dylan Talks Tone. I swear that's all my videos. I swear that's all of them. You're like...
You're drawing out like insecurities?
Yeah. I swear that's all the guitar videos are like that too. Like, but I thought that, I don't know, whatever, like anything, top wrapping, nitrocellulose, whatever, like anything, orange drop caps.
Rusty Fenders made a comment about your watch band. Of all people. Of course he did. I love my little double tap dismiss, by the way.
Dude,
Rusty
he's the one that told us about that ahead of time. Yeah. No, I love it. I use it all the time.
I didn't realize when he told us about it, it was on the newer watch that we didn't have yet. And so it was like, I don't need a new watch. And I was like, yes, I do. I need to try all these
that thing that
features
Rusty Fenders told us about. Yeah. And now I use it all the time because I'll be sitting there like winding pickups or soldering something. And I'll be like skipping podcasts, doing whatever. Yeah. I use it all the time. Yep.
Tom F said, did you guys watch that movie Monster that we spoke about a while ago? I don't remember that.
I don't remember either.
So
I don't
the
know.
answer is no, because I don't know what we're talking about. Sorry. All right. Well, you're yawning, and
you want to go eat popcorn and watch a video about boy bands?
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks for hanging out. You will see a video tomorrow about how to... What is it about?
I don't know, but if you're on Patreon, you could go watch it right now.
That's right. See you later.